Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. My name is Savannah Playford, the Director of Youth Ministry at Dixon United Methodist Church. Whenever you are watching this, welcome to today's daily devotion. Don't be troubled, trust in God. Trust also in me. My Father's house has room to spare. If that weren't the case, would I have told you that I am going to prepare a place for you? When I go to prepare a place for you, I will return and take you to be with me so that where I am, you will be too. You know the way to the place that I am going. You see, that verse comes from John 14, verses 1 through 4. This is the last teaching moment that Jesus has with his disciples before he is arrested and goes to the cross. The disciples are worried because Jesus has told them many times in the past that he would be leaving them, and now the truth is finally starting to set in for them. These are the guys who gave up everything to follow Jesus and had many beloved moments with him, so they are really worried that he is getting ready to leave. I would be worried too. In this situation, Jesus also knows the hard times that these disciples are going to face after he leaves. He knows that Peter and Andrew will be crucified as well. He knows that Thomas will be pierced with the sword and Philip will be tortured, and the list goes on of all the horrible things and hardships that the disciples are going to have to face. So now Jesus has to talk to them before he leaves. I mean, what do you even say in that kind of a situation? Jesus even said in previous verses that his soul was troubled. So Jesus is feeling a lot of emotions, and the disciples are feeling a lot of emotions, and there's a lot of uncertainty about the future. So these are definitely verses that we can relate to now. In the first verse, it says, "Do not be troubled. Trust in God, trust also in me." If you look up synonyms for the word trust, it comes up with reliable, certainty, and confidence. Those are all things that I need right now, tomorrow, and in weeks coming forth. You see, Jesus never wanted us to have a life without trouble, but he did promise that we can have an untroubled heart during these troubled times. Even with all the things that we are dealing with currently right now in 2020 with our changing society and the pandemic and the uncertainty of our future, we can have a troubled heart. Jesus promised us that. So how do we get to that untroubled heart? That's easier said than done. I don't know the exact answer, but here are a few things that I have done to help me be calm and have an untroubled heart. First things first, I think it's really important to have 10 minutes of silence a day. No phone, no background noise, honestly, not even electricity. I turn the lights off and I just sit and be still with myself and be still with God. The second thing I find very important is prayer. Having an open communication with God is important because God can help us work through and ease our thoughts, our mind, and our hearts. Lastly, I find it important to have a group of people that you can go to and have an open conversation with. And when you find that group of people, make it a rule that you will listen and learn with love instead of pointing fingers, judging, and hatred. Make sure that you have an open place to talk about all of these things that you may be experiencing. This past week, I had the opportunity to be a part of the California-Nevada conference with some youth and young people, and including the bishop. We had a dinner over Zoom, and we discussed many different things that are going on. Of course, we had some differences of opinions and perspectives, but most importantly, we came together and talked about how to calm our troubles and to calm our hearts together. And what did we do? We prayed together, we talked together, and we eventually worked out our calm hearts. You see, in these verses, Jesus is calling his disciples and reminding them of the fundamental relationship of trust and assurance that they have not only with Jesus but with God. It may feel like God is abandoning them, but he's not. He says, "Hey, I'll be right back. But in the meantime, here's what you can do." It may feel like God is abandoning us now with all of the uncertainty, but he is not and will not. We need to take a deep breath, trust in God, and remember that he is in control. Don't be troubled. Trust in God. Trust also in me.